Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Spencer Johnston, and today we're going to be finally going through my net worth, exactly where I'm at, and how I plan to get to the six-figure mark of $100,000 invested. Now, with where I'm at, this is not meant to brag at all, or it's not meant to even feel less than for people that can invest way more than I do. This is just exactly where I'm at. And hopefully, with my journey, I'm able to inspire some people to start investing now because the best time was yesterday. Today's the second best time. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you're going through your own journey. And I've been watching, I've been watching people do this on YouTube myself, and I took it upon myself to join the party. So hopefully anybody watching can get some inspiration, and this is exactly where we're at. Right now, I'm 23 years old, and I've been investing since I was 18. I haven't made all the best financial decisions, and so with this channel, I'm hoping to take a more strategic and conservative approach and understand that I can let compounding do the heavy lifting, but I have to get started now. So we have a grand total of a net worth of $58,000 right now. And that's with lots of mistakes along the way. And that's with messing up tons and tons of times, but this is where we're at right now. The goal, like I said, is $100,000 by the end of the year. So I took these numbers from a couple days after January 1st. I want to say it was like January 10th when I actually put this in. And going forward, it will be beginning of the month. So this is exactly what it is, man. I got paid from my job. I paid all my bills, and then I invested some, and I was left with $11.66 in my bank account. Now, I usually leave about $1,000 in there, just because over the course of the next 2 weeks, once I charge something to my credit card, I pay it instantly. That's just to get the rewards from the credit card while not carrying any balance, because letting your balance roll over into the next month obviously is very, very dangerous. And so that way too, when I get paid, all that cash can go towards bills and investing. I don't have to worry about my credit card at all because it's already at zero. So with my 401k and the plan that they offer, I do a percentage of my paychecks that go in there, and then I believe I get a 5 or a 6% company match, which is literally just free money. More or less, I make about $100,000 a year from my 9 to 5, so that 5 or 6% is just $5 or $6,000 invested automatically for the company, and then I do my contribution as well. Now, this is the total that it brings me to. I've had a 401k loan that was for $17,000 that I guess you could consider it car debt. It was for my car. Not the best financial decision if you're looking strictly at numbers, but that's what happened. You know, I launched $17,000 at it, and I have about $12,000 left. So you could consider that debt, but I also had the money to begin with, so I didn't include it. So if you do include that, then go ahead and subtract 12,000 from the net worth. Regardless, I'm still going to hit 100K. I'm probably going to hit 112K this year. I don't care, man. However we want to spin it, I'm going to get there. And I also we have our 401k in a conservative fund. I believe it's VOO. And I took it upon myself to, through the employer 401k, open a PCRA, which is a personal choice retirement account. I put it into a stock and I lost 20K. This was last year. And this is what we're left with, 26,000. Now, this is invested in a safe, conservative fund. I learned my lesson, guys, and that's my biggest financial mistake that I've ever made. I'm looking to just keep the peace of mind with this. I have my crypto bag. With that, the volatility that's within that is enough for me. I don't need to be having my whole net worth be gambled. Crypto is my gamble. I believe in it. It's 90% Bitcoin. So take with that as you will with those numbers, but I'm looking to be a little bit more conservative this year with my 401k and my Roth IRA. My Roth IRA sits at a balance of 64.86. I did max it out last year at the 7,000, and the reason it's down is because I did that same exact thing that I did with my 401k with my Roth IRA. Right now, it's down about 7,000, and this year we're being a lot more conservative. So, I've made tons and tons of mistakes, big mistakes that ended up costing me 7,000 in my Roth IRA, 20,000 in my 401k. And, like I said, this year we're getting it straightened out. It's not too late. Like I said, I'm 23. I went for a big risk, and sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't. Unfortunately, mine wasn't able to. So this is exactly where we're at. And then my crypto bag is $23,800. Fluctuates a lot, so I just rounded it off to a even number. This is 90% Bitcoin, so you could figure 2,300 that's allocated to shitcoins. I do believe it's Bitcoins and shitcoins. So if you're getting into crypto, just stick with Bitcoin. Once you study Bitcoin, understand Bitcoin, you know where it's going to go in the long term. You truly don't need any of these other ones. I do it. Maybe I haven't learned my lesson fully from the 401k and the Roth IRA. Kind of degenerate, but I do keep that barbell of being 90% Bitcoin. I have it in cold storage in a cold wallet, and I don't touch that. I've never ever messed with my crypto. I did dabble a little bit in the meme coin casino when that was going on last year, but no longer, man. I'm done trying to play the games of catch a quick pump and take profits, because it is gambling. And so my advice is just to stick with a strategy, and I will be doing that strategy, putting into these 3 buckets over the course of this next year. We're going to see where we're at, but these 2 will be very steady. I know this one will be pretty volatile. However, I'm ready for the volatility. I know what's in it with what I'm doing, and I am very disciplined now about my bags. With being 90% in Bitcoin, I feel very secure with that fact of knowing where Bitcoin's going and what it's going to do. And so when it goes down, I get excited. I look to buy more. And when it goes up, I get excited because I make money. So there is no losing in this. All those assets total up to $58,000. It could be a lot more. Like I told you guys, I just lost 30K last year being a degen, being an idiot. And that's where you want to stick with the strategy. Now, I thought I had a pretty good one, and man, you do want to be able to take calculated risks with some things, and other things you just need to leave them alone. If I wouldn't have lost 20K here, that would be 46. This would have been 14. I mean, you could add 30K to that. I would be almost at my goal. But we're rebuilding now, and I know how compounded annual growth can really, really work to your benefit if you get it in now. So I invest as much as I can, and I'll be breaking down in February how much money I had come in during the month of January and how much money I had go out. I'm really curious to see what percentage of my income is just going straight towards investment. I feel like it's pretty good because I got my cost of living down a lot, and I like to think that now, especially over these last couple months, I've been able to be pretty disciplined since taking that hard lesson. Now, like I said, with my car loan, that's in the form of a 401k loan right here. It is $12,000 left on it. And with that, I took a loan against the balance that I had within my 401k. So I had that money to begin with, and then I took it out for the car, paid for it, and now I'm making the repayment to myself that is $164 going straight back into my 401k every single check. So twice a month, it's about $320, $330 going into my 401k on top of my contribution. You're essentially just repaying yourself because you are the bank. So it is a higher interest rate. It's a 9.5%. However, you collect all that interest. So that's the reason that I did it. You might have a different opinion on it. I'd love to hear about it in the comments if you agree with that, if you don't. But I did not put it as debt just because I had that balance to begin with, and all that money is going directly back to me. Now, if you want to, you can subtract it. It'd be about 45,000, 46,000. And, if that's where we're at, then that's fine in your head. I'm going to get to that 100K mark. I'm going to get to 112 this year. I got no doubt, with what I'm doing and, how much we're able to invest. I feel very, very confident about it. So yeah, guys, this is exactly where we're going. And I don't know if I touched on my credit card. I've had to refilm this once or twice because the screen recording software I got is not good. It's not good. But with these credit cards, I leave a little bit in my bank account just to slowly pay them off as I'm going the next 2 weeks, so that when I do get paid, it is straight bills and investment. And then I leave a little bit of a buffer, about $1,000. I don't have an emergency fund. I don't have a savings. I invest everything I make because I know I'm getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, and I'm also hustling on the side. My business, if you want to call it that, my service is making about $700 a month right now. So I know if I'm ever in a quick jam for cash, it's usually only $200 or $300. Luckily, thank God, nothing major has happened to where I have to really think about an emergency fund. But I'm a 23-year-old guy. I have my girlfriend here, and she's making a little bit that does help out, but no, I couldn't see no major emergencies happening. I don't want to put that out there, but I don't have an emergency fund for that reason, because I know I'm getting an above average check every 2 weeks just from my 9 to 5. That doesn't include money that I make on the side. So I'd rather have it invested. And if I'm ever in a jam for cash, it's no more than like $300 or $400. I put it on a credit card, and as soon as I get paid, I'll pay it off. But like I said, I leave a little bit of a buffer in there. So that's just what I do. This is my holdings. This is where we're at, guys. And I'm hoping by this time right there, we can cross that $100,000 mark. I'll keep you all updated throughout the months, but these two should be pretty steady. And then this one should be pretty volatile, but volatility works in both ways, and I have no worries with that. I can sleep just fine on that. The rest, I expect steady growth, and also as I'm pushing forward this year, I expect to be earning more and more and more from my pool service. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully it gave you some inspiration. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. I try to get back to every single one that I can, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the next one. Thanks for watching.